What's going on, everybody? Happy Wednesday. It's me, TK. Hope everybody's having a great week this week. And I have a special guest today, Mr. Bryne Rambus. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us, man. I appreciate it. Bryne is down for the week, doing a ride along, hanging out with me and Rich guys. I've been chatting back and forth a little bit. He was in coming down to do a ride along. I'm not going to tell y'all a whole lot about him because I'd rather him do it. He knows stuff a lot better. But yeah, he's down this week doing a ride along. He's getting into the appliance industry, and I'm excited to see what this young man's going to do. Love to see people getting into the trade and learning and growing and, seeking out to get better, because that's what it's all about. We're all always learning and growing and getting better. Lord knows I have. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Bryne. And if for any reason you guys can't hear us any very good or anything, let us know. But yeah, Bryne, tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, what your business is, and all that good stuff.
All right. So yeah, I'm Bryne. I'm Prince George's County, Maryland. The name of my business is BMR Home Services. So right now I'm focusing on washers and dryers, washer dryer maintenance. And I kind of use appliance repair right now as a side hustle to my main hustle. I'm a garage door technician full time. So
that's awesome, man. And you got into business how long ago?
Well, I went to appliance boot camp March 2021.
2021.
Yeah, so I've been moving kind of slow, but I've been in ever since.
That's okay. Hey, slow and steady wins the race, man. That's right. What it's all about. Right. What was your experience like going to the boot camp? As far as Michael Sneed's program over there, did you enjoy it?
I did. It was definitely enough to get the engine started. He broke things down pretty simple for us. It was my first time getting hands-on experience, so. I enjoyed it, but when I came home, I didn't follow his advice, and I didn't go hard as soon as I got home. I did immediately take apart our microwave, tested out door switches and things like that, but I ended up just focusing on the full-time job and was just a little too nervous. The electrical stuff was pretty intimidating for me.
Yeah, so I get it, man. Yeah. So shout out to Mike Sneed and the Appliance Boot Camp crew. He's always bringing new people into the industry, and that's what it's all about, man. We love seeing people get into this industry and learn to trade. I'm excited to have Bryne down for this week. Me and him, and like I said, have been messaging for a while, and he is wanting to come. And I get a lot of messages from people wanting to come do a ride along or come by the store or come by and see the operation. So that invitation is always there to you guys. If y'all want to come and hang out and see how I do things. I don't say I do everything right. Bryne probably came down here and said, what in the world's going on? But we get it done. Before we go any further, before I forget, we're going to pray real quick. And then we'll ask Bryne a few more questions and just chat up and all that good stuff. But we want to pray and get our day started right. So let's pray real quick, and then we'll chat a little bit more. Lord, thank you for this day. Thank you for waking us up. Thank you for another chance to learn and grow and be a part of a community. We thank you. I thank you for Bryne, Lord. I pray a blessing over his business, his family. And I just ask that you be with him this week and in his travels, wherever he goes, and bless his business. We thank you for the Alliance community. We thank you for this industry that you've put us in. Be with everyone going through hard times. Be with everyone that's sick or struggling. And we pray all this in your son's name. Amen. Amen. Thank you guys for joining us. Like I said, if you're just tuning in, this is Bryne Rambus. Of course, I'm TK. And we're just chatting it up this week. I'm excited to have Bryne here. One of my favorite things to do is have other people ride with me that I can teach. I'm not saying I'm the greatest teacher out there. I still got things that I have to learn, but it's awesome. One thing that I'm super passionate about is trying to help other business owners and technicians and people in this industry. So thank you, Bryne, for coming. I appreciate you, man. What would you say? You're just getting into this appliance part of the business, but as your business as a whole, What would you say your biggest struggle has been so far?
My biggest struggle has been, I'd say, between schematics. It shouldn't be as difficult as it is for me. I think I might be overthinking it at times because I have very high standards for myself. I like to provide a complete customer experience, and I hate to be able to tell a customer I'm not sure what's going on or don't know what's going on. To me, it should be very simple because there's only so many things that can be wrong with the appliance, but just sometimes I overthink it.
Yeah.
Also, there's not a lot of guys around me that do this kind of work. There's not a lot of people I can talk to and that can relate to what's going on. There are a few people someone in the area, like Baltimore, things like that. Got a buddy in the area, Foreman. Shout out to Foreman Robinson.
Foreman.
He's been looking out for me, kind of speaking life to me. Let me know it's not that difficult. You can do this. I'm here to help you with whatever I can. So big shout out to him. Just helping me remind myself that this is something I'm completely capable of. There's nothing to hide from. I can go on the job site, be calm, be straightforward. If I don't understand something, I can just let them know. Or I can always call him. Mike Sneed also extended his hand, and I'm able to reach out to him if I need. So,
yeah. And that's one thing me and Bryne talked about this week, and I'm always preaching is you got to have a network. None of us know it all. And whether it's the Alliance community or it's Appliance Boot Camp or it's Appliantology or TMM Academics, shout out to all those great people. You got to have a network. TMM has their Voxer app or their Voxer channel where you can go on there and ask questions. We have the Appliance Alliance group. Appliantology has the blog posts and the different things where you can ask questions, and he does webinars and all these different things. And a lot of people say, well, which one should I be a member of? My answer is all of them. All of them. Be careful of which ones you're a part of. You don't want to just join any old group, but at the end of the day, all of them is the answer. Hang on one second, because we got somebody trying to walk in and we're closed. All right, sorry about that, folks. Apparently, closed signs mean nothing to people in Mechanicsville, Virginia, so I locked the door. But sorry about that, guys. But yeah, networking, all that good stuff. Which network should I be a part of? All the good ones. Appliantology, TMM, obviously the Alliance. And that's really what's going to help you, because just like Dr. Dan said up here, shout out to Dr. Dan. He's part of my network. Whenever I have a question about an LG, Dr. Dan's the one I hit up because he knows his stuff, boy. But he said, you never stop learning, brother. You never stop learning. If you do, you better check your pulse. And that's exactly right. That's coming from somebody who's been in this trade for, I think, 30, maybe 40 plus years. And he's still learning and he's still networking. But simultaneously, he helps others. He's active in the community. So that's a big thing. And the schematic piece, Bryne, just so you know, that is one of the biggest struggles for, I would say, all technicians. I still struggle at times with certain schematics. Those new Whirlpool refrigerators, when I pull out that schematic, I might as well be looking at, you know, Egyptian hieroglyphics. I mean, there's so many lines going so many directions, and I would love to go to a really good training on how that engineer that makes those Whirlpool schematics expects me to trace out circuits and use that schematic properly. So Whirlpool, if you're watching, we would love for you to come on live and teach us that, because I struggle. Or maybe you're watching and you're the Whirlpool schematic master. I'm talking about these newer Whirlpools, the KitchenAid, Bellas, and all those crazy ones where you pull out that schematic and it's overwhelming, to say the least. Y'all don't want to know my opinion on Whirlpool. So you say you've been in the industry since about 2021. And you got into the business or into the industry through the appliance boot camp. You are planning to mainly focus on washers and dryers. Tell us a little bit about your thought process on that, because I think that's super interesting. And share with the community about that a little bit.
Okay, so my thought process on that, I listened to Rochelle Ward over at Solid Steps to Well.
Shout out to Miss Ward.
She talks a lot of interesting things. You know, she's just like me. I think her birthday is the day before mine, so okay. we're very similar, even though I've never met her. But she talks a lot about specializing. So I decided, you know, if I focus on washers and dryers, which are essential to every customer that I service as far as garage doors go, they're always impressed with my service. They want to know what else I do. Say washers and dryers. I figure I can stock those parts easy.
Mm-hmm.
I figure I can upsell on maintenance packages, dryer vent cleaning, only on the first floor because I have a fear of heights. I'll never go any higher than a 6-foot ladder.
There you go. Me too.
And so I just found that doing that was, like I said, it was a nice, decent side hustle. I've got plenty of neighbors that have needed my services, family, friends. I just took care of my wife's family last week. Took care of a dryer with a cracked drum. You know, they say they didn't know I did this for a living, and a lot of my friends didn't know I do this for a living, but they will know now. Everyone's going to see this interview.
There you go. You know what, man, and I think that's a really good idea. But let me ask you this: is your plan to start with washers and dryers, and then learn the other appliances, or is that going to be your main focus, and you're never going to do kitchen appliances?
I'm gonna grow to more appliances.
Yeah.
So just for right now, while like I said, I have my main hustle that's set right now, but I'm kind of not sure how long I'll be in that.
Right.
I've considered creating a full business out of garage doors as well. But I also just had a son, just got married.
Congratulations.
So I'm trying to stabilize some things in my life before I go hard with the next move.
That's great. And you know, I like that business plan. I mean, and the thing is, you have a plan. You know what you're doing. A lot of guys that reach out to us in the Alliance, you know, the first thing I tell you is, have you written out your plan? And it sounds like you have your plan written out. If not written out, you at least have it in your head. So I encourage you, if you haven't put it on paper, put it on paper. But I think that's a great thing. You know, I'm not a big fan of the long-term specializing in laundry or refrigerators or whatever. But when you're getting your foot in the door, learning washers, dryers, ranges, fridges, dishwashers, microwaves, that can be overwhelming. So for a lot of you guys that are just getting into this and just learning, it's not a bad idea to start off slow. I mean, that's how we train our technicians. When a technician comes into our company, our main focus at first is dryers. We want to get that technician used to dryers because they're the most simplistic unit out there. And then the next one that we really focus on is ranges, because ranges are simple. If you can, in my opinion, if you can work on a dryer, you can work on a range. Washers can be a little tricky, a little temperamental. They're definitely more complex, but I think that's a beautiful model. I think it's a great way to get started, and I'm happy to have you as a part of the community, man. I have some questions that I kind of jotted down that I'm going off of, and the next ones we'll both share our top 3 favorite tools. How about that, Bryne? I'll let you go first. What are your top 3 favorite tools of all time?
My top 3 favorite tools. Okay, so I'm a fan of my sidewinder tool, small sidewinder tool, so that way I don't have to get all the way behind the appliance. I can kind of feel my way
The
around.
ratchet in one or the one that goes on your
the
drill?
one that attaches to the drill.
Oh, yeah, the 90. Yep. Yeah. That thing is great.
Let's see. My Impact, of course. My Milwaukee and my Bosch. Those are my favorite. And third favorite tool.
You can go all right to get nut.
I got did that kinds of size. I think my set that I purchased with my own money.
Good stuff,
man.
Has
a special place in my heart.
Yeah. Well, I've told you guys my three favorite a couple times, but that ratcheting thumb drive that Zach Kreider turned me on by Klein. I showed. Did I show you that yesterday? No, that was Ethan. You weren't with me yesterday. I'll show it to you today. But that ratcheting Klein with the thumb drive, 1/4 inch, 5/16 on the other. One of my favorite tools. I typically keep that either in my pocket or in my bag at all times. Number two, of course, the Klein CL800. My personal favorite meter out there. I think it's the most affordable and versatile meter for service technicians out in the field. If you're interested in the Klein CL800 and you'd like to hear more about it, go over to the Tech Circuit, Steve Morrison's group. He did a really good review on that meter. It was very thorough. I actually learned shit that the meter does that I didn't know, and I've been using it for like 5 years. So I felt a little bit stupid when I went through his review. But shout out to Steve Morrison and the Tech Circuit. If you're not a member, make sure you go join over there. So the Klein ratchet, the meter, and then I'm gonna have to piggyback with Bryne, that Bosch Impact. That thing is the truth. I used to use the DeWalt gyroscopic screwdriver, and my partner Austin started using the Bosch. And man, let me tell you what, boy, that thing is legit. Battery life is amazing. I mean, I maybe charge a battery once a month, maybe once every 2-3 weeks. Great long lasting battery life. It's just an all around great impact. And then if you buy the set, it comes with your normal, screw drill as well. So like when you have to do dryer vent cleaning or drill out something with a bit that doesn't fit into your impact, that's super helpful as well. Is there any skipping thought processes here? Is there any brands that you don't plan to service, or are you going to pretty much service all brands?
Well, I was recommended to stay away from Fisher Paykel for a little while.
Yeah, I did make that recommendation for a little bit till you get your feet wet. Yeah. The Fisher Paykel can be a little intimidating to me.
I can't think of any brand that I would not service. Not off the top of my head. I've seen some posts about a dryer that's got a compressor in it.
Mm-hmm.
It looked a little confusing to me because I'm still kind of learning how the compressors work.
Yeah.
But that looks like something, if I were to see it, I'm going to walk away.
Yeah, I would do the exact same thing. And I've been working on appliances for 10 years, and I still don't have any interest in working on a dryer that has a compressor in it. So let's check out these comments because we're kind of slipping on the comments this morning. Good morning, Adam. Thanks for joining us, sir. Joe, nice to have you here. We already shouted out Dr. Dan. My boy Jeremy with I Got Your Six Appliance Repair. Good to see you, brother. Our friend Saul says good morning. Mark, nice to see you, brother. As always. Here he is, Foreman Robinson. In the house. He is here. Would you mind letting Ethan in for me while I finish these up? Alex, nice to have you with us. Let's see what Adam said. Whirlpool said at training once, use different color pens to trace on the diagram. Yeah, I mean, I can see that, but you know what, man? If you look at the schematic that I'm talking about on those newer Whirlpool refrigerators. You can use all the different colored pins you want to. It's just a jumbled mess of lines everywhere. So maybe I'm just not smart enough to work on those units. Let's see what Saul had to say. Morning, Ethan. We're live, so if you don't want to be on TV, don't walk over here. But if you do, come on over. Bryne has the right idea. Saul said, Bryne has the right idea. Please look into cost-efficient CC processors for your business. Yes, cost-efficient credit card processors is very important. We're using iWallet right now. We just started using iWallet. Shout out to them. They are awesome. Very good company. They were at ASTI this year. Kyle, what's up, bro? Good to see you, sir. Yeah, Kyle knows what's up. He used to work for Zach, so he knows what's up with the thumb drives. I'm sure Zach turned him on to that, I would imagine. Let's see here. Alex said, use iPad and scan to PDF. You can draw over it. Then yeah, that's what I do too. I typically use my iPad out in the field for tracing circuits. I'll do a screenshot of the schematic and then do the little markup so I can draw it out in the field. I'll show you that today while we're out, Bryne. We got a full day. I'm pretty excited because Bryne, when he reached out to me, he was like, man, I want to mainly focus on laundry while I'm there. And we've seen some laundry, but you know, it's one of those things. He's doing a ride along, so we see what we see. But today we got 6 calls and every single one is a washer or a dryer. So we're going to be banging out washers and dryers all day. We got 6 calls total. We're probably going to get an early start and get out there and see what we can do. Let's see. I want to drop a couple more questions before we finish. I'll pick up a couple. I like this question because this takes us a little bit out of appliance repair. What kind of hobbies do you have outside of appliance repair, Mr. Bryne?
Hobbies outside of appliance repair. I don't really have any hobbies these days. I've got a wife and kids, so
right, yeah.
I'm with them most of the time. If I'm not out working or trying to figure out how to perfect this craft, organizing my new house or hanging out with the wife and the baby.
Yeah, and you know what, man, that is a hobby. You know, spending time with your family should be your number one hobby. And it should be something you enjoy. So there's nothing wrong with that, man. I'm kind of the same way. I mean, I like camping and I like doing different things, fishing when I can, hanging out with friends when I can. But my favorite thing to do is spend time with my family. Like if I'm not working, that is the most important thing for me to do. Everybody that knows me knows I'm a family guy. I love spending time with family and, you know, all that good stuff. But you had we were talking about these questions before we started rolling. And one of the questions I wrote down is, what is the craziest experience you've had as a tech in the field? And you said you had one, so I'm going to let you share it. Yeah. And then we're going to hop off because we got to get to work.
Yeah. All right. So I've had a lot of crazy stories. But, one that stands out, cat poop lady. So this lady, I guess she was a hoarder, came to her house. There's mountains of cat poop all around the washer and dryer. She just kind of proceeded to tell me what's wrong with it. I couldn't hear anything she's saying. I'm gasping for air the whole time, even with the mask on. So, you know, I listened to her as much as I could. And I eventually told her, like, look, I can't work in these conditions. She kind of had an attitude with me. And as she was yelling, I was finding myself getting more and more nauseous. I helped myself out the back door. When I say mountains of cat poop, I'm not exaggerating at all. Mountains of it. Cat pee all over the washing machines. The steel inside is rusted out. Yeah, just never again. Next time I walk into a situation like that where it's that disgusting, I'm just going to walk out.
Yeah. And you know what? I imagine any technician or service person out there that's watching this, if you have been in the field for more than a few years, you have been to the cat lady's house. And it is a nasty, disgusting experience. I think we've all had a cat lady or two. And it hits you as soon as the door opens. Like the door opens and it's like, boom, and you're like, you know, just what the hell?
It wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth the service call. It wasn't worth being there for an hour. I couldn't even think straight.
Yeah. And you know what? There's nothing wrong. It's a skill to have, but there's nothing wrong with saying, you know what? This is not the customer for me. I remember one I went on one time, which was very similar to the one you just described. And I mean, this lady had to have 100 freaking cats in her house. Cats, I don't know if there's dogs in there too, but I mean, there was piss and shit everywhere. And it was disgusting. And it was back when I was doing warranty work. And I just told the lady, I was like, ma'am, I said, I can't do it. I apologize. I said, I'm going to call the warranty company and let them know. And I just refused the call. Like it was just like you said, I was literally nauseous sitting up in there, being around there. And it was, you know, you have to do that sometimes. You don't want to, because a lot of times they're really nice people. The people that live there, they're not mean or bad people. They're just, I don't know, they're obsessed with cats, or they're hoarding cats, or they're just nasty. But, you know, and you do feel bad, but you got to remember at the end of the day, not everybody's your customer. And the lady with 40 pounds of cat shit in her house is not my customer and is not Bryne's. Well, Bryne, thank you for joining us, man. Maybe once you get back to Maryland and you get rocking and rolling, we could do a follow-up interview one week and go live, and you'll be in Maryland and I'll be in here, and we'll check back in with you. And thank you guys for joining us. If you haven't checked out servicealliancegroup.com, be sure to go check out servicealliancegroup.com. We have a promotion going on until the end of February. Use promo code FEB 2023, get $100 off our all access membership. It's typically a $500 a year membership. You get $100 off, you get $400 for the all access plan. Well worth it, in my opinion. So go check it out. Once again, thank you, Bryne. Thank you, everybody else, for tuning in. And I will see you guys Friday. Make sure to tune in tomorrow for Zach. I think he's either going to have Jenny or Shayna on. I'm not sure which one, but make sure to tune in for that. And we appreciate you guys joining us, and have a great day. Peace.